clear to play. MiniWarGaming's Beat Map Batrep.
Welcome back to Beat Map Batrep. This is Tomb Kings vs. Skaven, Warhammer Fantasy Battle Report, Skaven turn 3. So he rolls for reserves. We actually forgot to roll for reserves in turn 2. And so his infiltrators are coming on. He charges, of course, into my skeleton. So this is going to be the clash that'll determine the rest of the game. And these clan rats actually run off the board. So they do not come back. The other ones do rally, though, the double one. So super awesome courage. Insane courage are still there. And the other guy's just moving up. They haven't really done much. The cannon is going to turn and get ready. Right here we have some magic going on. And this is the one that was everything that's toughness 7, takes a certain number of strength hits. And that does kill my catapult, unfortunately. And so now rolling for something else. Oh yes, he's casting some magic at the Necrosphinx, trying to take it down as quickly as he can. And he does manage to hit 5 times and does kill the Necrosphinx with his magic. Then another magic attack into my guys. He does roll lots of dice, but I do irresistibly dispel it, which works very well for me. And he loses a guy because of something that I cannot remember. So then his cannon fires, actually gets a strength 2, and it bounces over his target and then doesn't do anything else. So his warp fire, or the cannons, just haven't been doing anything this turn. Impact hits. He gets hit with 9 strength 4. Impact hits, that actually kills them on their own. So they just got trampled. That's all that happened to them. And then my guys reform. So going into combat with the big units, I lose 1 skeleton warrior there. Then we have the troll or ogre who's pulling that the bell, attacking as well. He's not modeled on there, but he is actually there. And then his other, I think this is his champion, and other guys who are attacking as well. And he manages to kill 4 skeletons in total, so hasn't been able to do tons of damage quite yet, but we haven't got the brunt of his attacks yet, so we'll see what happens. So there goes another skeleton from another attack, and then we get a large number of guys attacking. This is the brunt of the attack. And having to hit on 4s, though, because my weapon skill is 5, because the prince is part of that group. Really buffs up the group by throwing in a prince or a king into a group of skeletons. So we'll lose another 7 guys there. Now I do get to hit back. So my prince goes first, manages to kill just 1 guy. So that's kind of disappointing. But then the rest of my guys get to attack. And since I have a higher weapon skill, I'm only hitting on 3s, which is nice, because it's lots of hits. And don't manage to do as many wounds as I would like. And he actually rolls some good armor saves right there. You see all those 6s there. And so he only loses a handful of guys. So he wins combat, and because of the unstable rule, I lose another ton of skeleton warriors. So you can see he's actually winning that combat right there. But it wasn't enough to break through them. That's a tough thing about going up against Tomb Kings. My scorpion does arrive, a little too late. He scatters over here, but he can't charge on the turn he arrives. It's not like the old Tomb Kings Codex. The chariots are charging into the rear flank of his clan rats, and this is going to be trouble for him. The bone giant unfortunately cannot charge, so he just turns around and repositions himself and gets ready for a charge for next turn, so that he can get into combat. The Shopti move up, trying to get ready to engage his remnants of his forces in the one flank. And then my archers are actually advancing because they're actually running out of targets at this distance. So they're moving up as far as they can and just kind of dropping them there because it's hard with all the hills. The horsemen also move up and are wheeling at the same time, trying to face his remaining gunners so they can try to take them down. And the magic phase, I do roll 8 power dice. I am going to buff my chariots as much as I can. I do roll an irresistible force again, which I roll a 9 on, so that means that there's some strength 10 hits there, and I lose the rest of my power dice. So my chariots are now buffed, I think, with extra attacks. Yes, they each have 1 extra attack, which is going to be huge for that charge. And then the archers fire into the cannon, only manage to take down 1 wound. And then the horsemen archers fire and manage to kill one of his guns. But it doesn't mean he's going to have to take a panic test. Does he run? No, he does not. Oh, wait. Yes, he does. His leadership is only 5, I believe. So he runs off the board right there. So impact hits first. Already seeing a lot of guys getting hurt. And, was that what that was? Well, let's see what happens here. Yeah, losing lots of guys. I think the first one was some other sacrificial thing to do some damage. But there's impact hits in there doing 3d6 strength 4 hits. And now he gets to hit me first because he's higher initiative all across the board. and so doing as much damage as he can now that he's surrounded. Does manage to kill one skeleton, unfortunately. The rear flank, of course, going up against the chariots, are going to attack them. Do not manage to do any damage. His battle center bear in there attacks and manages to kill another one skeleton warrior. Then all of his clan rats get to attack, doing as much damage as they possibly can, hitting on 4s, probably wounding on 4s as well, and manages to kill, looks like 3, maybe 4 more guys. So not a lot of skeletons dying, and one of the shields, of course, falls off. Then his ogre guy turns around and smacks into the chariots as well. Does manage to take down a couple wounds there. Then I get to hit back, hitting on 3s, and this is the Tomb King not doing, or Tomb Prince not doing any damage. But then I get all the skeletons who are still alive, and they manage to do a bunch of hits. They fail quite miserably on the damaging, but there's still lots of hits there. And you can see that he's starting to dwindle under the pincer of the chariots and the skeletons. Then the chariots get to go, hitting the guys in the rear flank there. And they're hitting on 3s, and they charge. They get extra attacks, so there's tons of attacks here, all at strength 4 because of the spears. And they manage to do devastating amount of damage there. So you can see that the Skavens are crumbling, and they're not going to be able to survive this encounter. And then we get the horses attacking as well, and they all get one extra attack because of the augment spell that's on them. And they manage to kill, I think, 3 more in total. So panic test, he has to roll basically, or break test, he has to roll a double 1 to see if they run, and of course fails that because that's very unlikely. He does get to re-roll it though because he still has a battle center bear there. And then I overrun him, and he calls game at that point. So that is a Tomb King's victory. It's hard to know if the Lore of Light was the reason that I won so well at the end there. Obviously, hexing him with the 1 spell that stopped his guys from being able to move or do their magic very effectively was a big deal, especially because this game was only 3 rounds long. But other than that, most of the spells kept getting dispelled. So I'm going to still have to experiment more with the Lore of Light to see what happens. So I hope that you enjoyed this battle report. Stay tuned for more Beat Map Bat Reps. If you're a Vault member, go to the Vault for the post-game show where I talk with my opponent about the game. Otherwise, happy wargaming.